Welcome to the Sharkmoney Show. I'm your host T-Shark, and my co-host B-Shark. He's simulcasting over there in Utah, so you're going to see him any which way. Welcome to the playoffs, because the playoffs is where it's happening. This is where it counts. The money's on the line every time, and these numbers make it seem so sublime. Well, last week we reached our peak, and I'm telling you, all 6 of those games, whatever, we were right about this or that. But we made a whole lot of money. I heard all the billionaires and millionaires come ringing the Sharks phone, and they say, hey, we couldn't made it without you, and thank you for building my brand new home. Well, in this week, it's the real deal. And the real deal means we're going to really sit back and peel. So without further ado, let me get into you. Like and share this video to all your friends. Remember that, because on this night, it's blood on the water, in the water, however you want to do it. But it starts on Saturday. That's right. We're talking about the Houston Texans. And I mean, they come flying on in, with a minus 8.5 going to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's where they flying on into? My gosh, can you believe it? They don't seem like they're going to really be able to do this thing with a minus 8.5. Well, if I'm going to gamble, let me just put the gambler right on my hip and say, let me just throw it on out on you, because it's Mahomes for the over in the passing yards. That's right, you heard me. Take Mahomes over in the passing yards, sitting at KC. He's going to show you what you thought he couldn't do, what he's actually going to do. He's going to seek and destroy. But Mr. CJ, yes, with the prescriptions of poison, well, you better have a little cyanide in that when you write this prescription to take out the champions. And it takes a heart of a man, a beast of a kind, and anybody that's hitting their chest like King Kong to come off and win this game. Well, it's going to be hard for you, Mr. CJS. So take the under in the passing yards for you. I swear I bet on my nice $1 million watch that you ain't going to get over in the passing yards against the Kansas City Chiefs. Believe you me, they're going to beat the drum. They're going to hear the whole hell. Everything's going to come out, and you're going to know what the outcome is. It's going to be for the Kansas City Chiefs with the minus 8.5 that you can't believe. Believe you me, ain't no tricks up my sleeve but gold watches. So the win is a win, and let the shark on in be who you got.
We're going to launch it right off here with the Houston Texans flying on in to see those Kansas City Chiefs as 8.5-point underdogs. And man, Houston got it done last week in a big way at home, carrying that momentum into Kansas City. Kansas City, on the other hand, I think it'll be a total of 24 days since Pat Mahomes has touched a football. And man, that last showing there in Denver with Carson Wentz did not look good. They got blown out 36-0. You want my opinion? I think Andy Reid kind of wrote that game off, so I'm going to start preparing for the playoffs, and literally did not care about that meaningless Broncos game, and it showed. But the only thing I know from being in Philadelphia, Andy Reid, off any kind of off the bye or any type of extended rest period, he's a tank. And when you look at Pat Mahomes' statistics here, man, my man is 37-8 straight up. He's 24-20-1 push against the spread coming off extended rest periods. So this really favors the Chiefs. Now, at 8.5 points, that is a pretty large number. There's a low total on this game as well. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. And these Chiefs, they're known for kicking that field goal in the end. They may not cover this 8.5. I don't love that number in this playoff situation, particularly if CJ Stroud can continue the momentum that he started to create there, chemistry with the offense moving that he did last week. Though this Chiefs defense can be a little bit of a different challenge here on the road in the cold, and I see a Chiefs victory coming here. However, the play that I'm going to give you is the first half of a teaser card. There's going to be two teasers and 2 straight up picks against the line this week. This is the first teaser. We're going to take the Chiefs from 8.5 points down to 2.5 points, and we're actually going to pair them with the Buffalo Bills, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But Chiefs minus 2.5 on the teaser card. Book it for another win.
We definitely are going to do it like that. Well, let me check you out, because you're tuned on into the numero uno Shark Betting Show. The mall beat Shark, you're smart. But in this next game, let me take out the wash, please, because there's a little bit of stench in the air I can't believe. It's the Watchers that don't have it. Yes, they are having a whole lot of command, 23-20, to make themselves come on into the Lions Den. And it ain't the Daniel that's in the Lions Den. It's the J.D. Daniels in the Lions Den. And oh my gosh, it's fear amongst us. I can smell it because it's the Detroit Lions sitting at home with a minus 8.5 for the second time. And I'm telling you right now, if the last game was 8.5, they're giving this team an 8.5. Well, you got to believe there's no tricks, but take the football. Golf, Jared Goff, before I go any further with the over in the passing yards, because I do believe the gunslinger got it, Pilgrim. He's going to stick it to you like a villain. But if you look at Mr. J.D., it's going to be kind of hard to go against this defense. They say, the defense is hurt. The defense is hurt. Let me tell you, you need to shut the heck on up because the JD is going to face a painful line that's coming at him. Take the under for the JD Express because the Express stops here. The Detroit Lions will not have no fear. Daniel, in this game, you better that I walk through the valley of death. Close your eyes for this blindside attack. Take the Detroit Lions. I ain't lying. I swear to God, with my lion eyes, I want to see the prize. It's going to happen. Leave your mind hypnotized. B, who you got?
All right, it's on to Saturday night, 8 p.m. in Detroit. Man, the Washington Commanders, I had them picked last week for that upset down there in Tampa. This is a dangerous team. They've got a great young quarterback and an offense that can click and a defense that does sometimes just enough to keep them in there late in games. These Commanders have been known for a lot of just improbable rallies and improbable results, and you're coming in here as 9.5-point underdogs against those Detroit Lions. Now, this is where I think it ends for those Commanders. Great run, great team, but Dan Campbell on this extended rest, he had his players go home and spend time with families. He's got a tremendous formula here, and with extra prep and Dan Campbell, 12-4-1 straight up and 13-4 against the spread when this team in the Dan Campbell era has had extended rest. That means this coach knows how to use the extra time to get his team ready to play football. And the Lions have been massively hyped all year long. Some say the best team in the NFL. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFL, though I don't. I think they're going to meet their match down the line. That said, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, it's been a beautiful run for you guys. I don't see it continuing in Detroit. If you want to play a safe bet and not get a lot on the end, you can certainly play that Detroit money line. But I like all the statistics with Detroit against the spread, despite the 9.5 points in a playoff game. You see what Detroit can do on a fast track. Now, Jaden Daniels will be able to put up some numbers, I think, against that Detroit offense. I do see this being a high-scoring game. But, this Detroit offense can cook. They're going to be fired up. They're going to have the whole crowd behind them. And I'm not sure the Commanders have enough defensive presence and scheme to be able to just shut down this high-powered offense, particularly Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff. The difference in Jared Goff's statistics, indoor versus outdoor, are night and day. This is on his home turf, man. They love him in Detroit. That whole offense can be out there fired up and ready to go. And I just don't think the Commanders are going to have what it takes to hold them off. This is an absolute wagon. It's a scoring machine. And I do think that they can cover these 9.5 points. I know I texted T-Shark about that. I think he's in agreement with me here that this is going to be a runaway victory for the Detroit Lions. And they're going to wait the outcome of the Eagles and the Rams. And I'm going to give you that pick next as we continue here on the Sharkmoney Show. But Lions minus 9.5. That is my play this week in this game.
Oh, it's the L, the A, the R. Oh my gosh, in this next game, where are they at? They on top of a mountain? No, they're not. They're going to have to take their belly goat behind and fly on over to the Philadelphia Eagles. And that means, oh my, bring the fear. The minus 6.5 is here. The Philadelphia Eagles is favored with these stinking Rams. Well, guess what? It's revenge. It's the revenge tour that the Rams are strumming, playing their guitar, talking about we coming. And we want revenge for what you did to us in the regular season. Well, I got news for you. Unless you can move a whole lot of beef and use the trooper and chomping your teeth and getting down to the gristle, well, you're going to have an issue with this offensive line because it's not going to be so sublime. It's going to run your behind off every time because Saquon Barkley take him for the over 100 yards in this game. You thought the two he ran up the gut and cut out on you did the one stepper and was gone? You thought that was just the beginning? My gosh, it's going to be the end of you when you see the next move this man's about to make. The Philadelphia Eagles is looking unstoppable. They're looking with the minus 6.5, looking at the impossible. It's the Stratford that I'm looking at. He's got the staff of Moses, and he says, I can split the part and see one more time. I told you about that staff from Stafford. He did split the sea, and now we got to see him one more time. Well, you're not going to be passing in this game because the number one defense is going to be relentless. Take the under for Mr. Stafford right now. He ain't going to be splitting no C's. He ain't going to be free nothing. It's going to happen for him just very dismal. So take the Philadelphia Eagles, and you can take the Hurts with the over in the rushing department because I do see a whole lot of pimping in his game, and I'm wearing a hat, and you know what it is. It ain't a shame. Take the Philadelphia Eagles, fly, Eagles, fly. Oh me, oh my. Why can't we all try? Be who you got.
All right, let's talk about the game on Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, the one B-Shark's looking the most forward to, and that is our Philadelphia Eagles fly. Eagles fly. Coming off that 22-10 victory against the Pack, up against the visiting Rams coming in off that victory against that Sam Darnoldson out there in Minnesota. It was like a no contest kind of matchup. The Vikings literally just had all the wheels come off the wagon as they found themselves in the 5th seed and just couldn't do anything. I was absolutely shook at how bad the offensive line for Minnesota looked as the Rams went out there and got 8 or 9 sacks. I forget the exact number, but it seemed like every play the Rams were playing in the Vikings backfield and just putting all kind of pressure. The Vikings had no running game to speak of, so they really had to put it in Sam Darnold's hands, and in doing so, they left him exposed because the line was not there to block that day. I just don't know what happened, and the Rams offense did what it needed to do to put enough points up on the board. They got away with a couple little things or a couple little situations there with the little pass from Matt Stafford that looked like it might have been a fumble. Could have tied the game at 10. Who knows what would have happened after that. So there were some moments in that game that were pretty pivotal. But at the end of the day, what I saw was a line that couldn't protect the quarterback and a team that tried to go against the Rams that had no running game. And the Rams just managed their way through that game, got out with a victory. Now, that was a Monday night game. The Eagles played the day before, so this means the Philadelphia Eagles have one extra day of rest, and Nick Sirianni told the team no victory Monday this week. They got right to work. So the Philadelphia Eagles have been at it and preparing their bodies, preparing their schemes, and everything they need to do to face the Rams here. So not only are the Rams on one less day of rest and preparation, they have to spend the day also traveling all the way across country. So that's going to impact things as well in terms of the overall preparation. Much easier to get stuff done. You're at home, you're in your own bed. Never mind the fact, and thoughts and prayers go out to everybody in the greater Los Angeles area. I cannot believe the carnage and devastation that we're witnessing. And please, if you're seeing this, you make a little money gambling, do the right thing, man. Send a little bit that way. Support a cause, help some people, help some animals. There's so many opportunities out there in LA. But back to the betting stuff, man. There are a lot of players and their families that are impacted by this, and this is real life stuff, guys. This matters when it comes to preparing for a football game. If you're losing your home or you have family members that are in jeopardy, your mind's not on football when it comes, and really to dial it in and really be present in these playoffs, you have to be 100% committed and focused to what's going on here. So you got one less day of rest, you got a day of travel, and then you have all the other distractions for the Los Angeles Rams in that area. And they came out and they really, really played well against Minnesota. But the Philadelphia Eagles going to have something for them. Number one, the Eagles got an O-line. Number two, they got Saquon Barkley. The Vikings did not have Saquon Barkley. Last time Saquon saw these guys, he put 255 on them, right? And Jalen Hurts, we just beat the Packers. The Eagles beat the Packers 22-10. And Jalen Hurts, despite the 111 passer rating, that was not one of his strongest games. And understandably so. He's just coming off a concussion at that point, a little bit of rust, didn't have much time to practice, get in sync with the team. So not shocking that what we saw wasn't the most impressive of passing performances. And I think that's going to be a little bit different. So, last time around, the Eagles defense, they absolutely proved they could shut down Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua and the entire Rams offense. And they just ran all over that young defense. So as much as the Rams put up a good fight here, this 6-point line, I see the Eagles with a double-digit victory here on Sunday in the first game. I see the Eagles advancing and likely facing off against the Detroit Lions in Detroit the following week for an NFC championship. But I see the Eagles with double-digit victory here, so you can count on them to cover that 6-point line.
Now, finally, get your popcorn ready. Turn around and get your rulers out and your notebooks out with a nice number 2 pencil. Because here he comes down the street. Lamar, the superstar that you are, the reading rainbow of the book. You can read anything and start to cook. It's the Baltimore Ravens in my next pick in the grand finale of them all with the minus 1.5. But guess who they flying on into? The Ravens got to land on the perch of a who? On the back of a Buffalo Bill. Now, I ain't never seen a Raven ride the back of a Buffalo, but I did see some buzzers on the back of a Buffalo one time. But the Buffalo Bills is bringing the Allen wrench, and the Allen wrench has got to fix the game. Yeah, Mr. J.A., Mr. Josh Allen, I see you doing your MVP thing, but guess what? Do not count this man out because he should be the MVP, and Mr. Lamar, the star, that should be right there, pull up to you in his brand new car. Allen, be aware. Take the under in the passing yards against Josh Allen because I do believe he's going to have to use a whole lot of his feet. So if he's going to have to use a whole lot of his feet to get on out there, take the over in the rushing department for Mr. Josh Allen. Let's just get all the money straight because Sharkmoney don't hesitate in this game. Lamar, you are the star, so I'm going to give you over in the rushing department. Yes, I like the way how you do it. But Mr. King Henry, will you have another absolute game like the way you brought the pain in the last one? I do believe you got it, and you take the over for Mr. King Henry, and he ain't writing no biblical verses. It's going to be down in verses and rehearsals. Somebody's getting shipped out here today, and the Baltimore Ravens look like just the team to do it. Take the Baltimore Ravens to win the game, get the claim, eliminate this Buffalo Bill out their name, and understand they came to bring the pain like rain and go and see Kansas City and just do your thing. So take the Baltimore Ravens all the way misbehaving with the 1.5. Big booyah.
This is probably the game that most of the country really wanted to see in the first place. You have the 2 top MVP candidates going at it. Lamar Jackson coming into Buffalo against Josh Allen. Again, the top 2 candidates for MVP of the NFL. Both incredibly impressive quarterbacks in their own right, playing on really strong teams, right? Some people believe the Ravens are the number 1 team in the NFL. Again, don't agree. I give the Ravens top 3, top 4 status maybe. But if you've been paying attention, B-Shark's been preaching the Buffalo Bills going to the Super Bowl. They're just something felt pretty magic about Josh Allen this year, and I just don't know if the Chiefs have enough to hold that Bills squad off. Now, the way the Ravens have been playing, it could end for the Bills this weekend. What's really crazy to me though is that this is now an 18-game home favorite streak. The Bills have been favored at home for 18 straight games. And if this line closes where it is right now, with the Bills getting 1.5 points, it's going to snap that streak. We also saw what Lamar did to the Bills last year. Is it going to be a repeat performance? I don't know. This one's a tight one. And that 1.5 points, it opened the other way with Ravens as underdogs. But now this line shifted 3 points. There's a lot of big money that's come in favoring the Ravens. So This is very, very much smelling like a Ravens cover based on how the Sharkmoney has come in. But I'm not going to play against the Buffalo Bills in any fashion. I felt very good about my prediction with the Bills going to the Super Bowl this year. Made that earlier, and I'm going to stick with it. Now, that 1.5, you can certainly play it. Again, I'm favoring the Bills very slightly in this game. This is very much a toss-up, though. Again, 1.5 line. But I promise you a teaser. We teased the Chiefs down to 2.5. We're going to tease the Bills up through that 3 and the 7 from 1.5 points to 7.5 points and pair that off in a 2-team parlay. Again, we call that a teaser bet with the Chiefs minus 2.5. So your Chiefs minus 2.5, Bills plus 7.5. The Bills are not getting blown out at home. They might lose a tough one. It could happen definitely with Lamar and the Ravens have been cooking. Derrick Henry's been running all over the place. He's been running wild. I think it's going to be a little tougher, a little more difficult in Buffalo to operate like that. But it's not inconceivable that the Ravens win this game. Again, it's going to be a tight one, but I'm going to stick with the Buffalo Bills. However, on the betting card, I'm going to take that up from 1.5 to 7.5, and I'm hoping to make it 4 for 4 this week and go 10 for 10 in the first 2 rounds of those playoffs. T-Shark, I miss you. Everybody out there, thank you so much for watching the Sharkmoney Show and supporting us, and I'll be back in the studio for the NFC and AFC championships next week.
Well, that does it for everybody and everything that we've done on this playoffs. But let me tell you, these top 4 teams right here, the 4 games that we got, you know it's all the way live. Every home team should handle their business. No, Buffalo will not. They will bear witness to defeat, just like the Ravens gave it to them earlier this year. What makes you think you can stop an 18-wheeler? I don't think so. So for next week, it's going to get a little tighter. It's championships on the line. There's little fancy rings and these bling bling things that's on the line. That's the beginning of a beautiful relationship. So until then, lighten up and like and share this video and this show, the Sharkmoney Show, to all of your friends from Utah. How you doing, big? All the way to New York. How you doing, everybody? We doing it right. It's the Sharkmoney Show.